Hey everybody, Max Wippermann here with a MotionBoardshop tutorial. This is our first of a multi-part tutorial on top-mount speedboards. What separates a top mount from the rest of the pack is the deck itself is mounted on top of the trucks. What that translates to is a higher ride height, and for that reason, more grip. Higher center of gravity, you got more downward force on your wheels and you're gripping harder. Another thing that people like about top-mount speedboards is higher up means you get a little bit more leverage over your trucks. So a little bit more agile, a little bit turnier, so inherently a little bit less stable also. But for people that race, that like a lot of grip and a lot of agility out of their boards, top-mount speedboards are the way to go. The first top-mount speedboard we're talking about is the OG Voodoo. This is one of Comet's very early boards they made. It is 38 inches long, has a 31 3/4 inch wheelbase. It has a interesting thing called rocker, which is tip to tip sag right in the middle. So from here to the middle, it sags about 3/4 of an inch. And what that does is it kind of wedges the outside edges for you. You can push your feet up against it, get a lot more grip from your feet onto the board. So you don't want your feet sliding around on the board. You want them to stay right in place. Rocker helps out a lot with that. The board itself is 9.5 inches wide, tapers down to 9 inches in the back. Definitely a lot narrower than most of the boards that we're seeing coming out today. Really solid deck. If you like to run Randall 180s, Paris 180s, and 50 degrees, the wheel wells allow for good wheel clearance with 70mm wheels, and that's typically what I would recommend. For racing, if your trucks are going to be a little bit tighter, you can easily go up to 75mm as long as you're not running them too sloppy loose. Next board we got going on here is the Eastside Rocky Bomber. This is a symmetrical top-mount freeride board from Eastside. They're made in Portland. It is 10 1/8 inch wide right here and here. Has a little bit of a taper in the middle, nice hourglass shape. It has a 1/2 inch of concave, and it has 4.5 inches of flat in the middle. Nice mellow concave coupled with a really wide deck. What that means is your foot is making nice even contact with the entire part of the board. That means more friction on your foot in the grip tape, which translates to your foot not moving anywhere. So really concave that locks you in nicely and well designed. The other thing this board has is adjustable wheelbase holes. You can set it up to be 30 or 31 inches, and it is drilled new school only, so indie lovers rejoice. This board feels really great on indies, particularly on the inner wheelbase. Really functional wheel cutouts on this board allow for nice and loose trucks. With top mounts, you don't really have to go too big on the wheel cutouts, but these guys definitely have great wheel cutouts, and you really don't have to worry about too much wheel bite, even with running pretty loose trucks. Again, 70mm wheels are a great way to go for all top mounts if you want to keep it a little bit lower to the ground. You can easily run 75 if you're running this for downhill and you got your trucks a little bit tighter. But if you want a loosey-goose like a freeride board, which is what this was designed for, 70mm is a great, nice, agile sliding wheel. Next board we got here is the Madrid Market Price. This is pretty popular these days. It's 38 inches long. It is right up here where your front foot goes. It's 9.5 inches. Goes out to 10 inches right about here, and then back to 8.5 inches back here, so quite a bit of taper. Has about a 1/2 inch of concave, really nice and mellow, and a little bit of W right in there. That is just enough to kind of lock in the arches of your feet. Like we were saying before, more surface area on your feet means more grip on your feet. You do not want your feet sliding around, so that's something unique to longboards rather than like skateboards where you want to slide around. You want your feet staying right there, so a nice W really helps achieve something like that. This board has a 30 1/4 inch wheelbase from inner hole to inner hole, and typically this is more of a downhill board. A lot of people don't like a taper in their freeride boards. They like more symmetricality. I personally like a nice and narrow board in the back. I like to hang my heels over the edges. The whole thing about not wanting your feet to move around, if your heel's over the edge and you're locked into the edge of the board, it's really not going to go anywhere, so you don't have to worry about your feet moving around. Really functional wheel cutouts again. This board works great with indies. A lot of the Madrid guys ride indies, and that's what they design a lot of their stuff around. That being said, Randall 180s, Paris 180s, Paris 195s, Bear Grizzly A52s, anything like that would work really well on this board. Really good selling point of this board, it comes $100 with grip tape. Madrid grip tape is fly paper. It's not super coarse like Gnar tape, Vicious, or Edger, but it has really sharp edges to it. And coupled with the nice mellow W concave here, your feet aren't going anywhere. Next up on our list of top mount speedboards, we have the Rain Avenger, one of the most talked about top mounts on the market today. It has 3 plies of bamboo sandwiched between fiberglass on top and bottom. Makes for a nice stiff construction, not too much weight, you're keeping it light. Really functional wheel cutouts on here with 75mm wheels. As long as you don't keep your truck super loose, you're pretty much good. 70mm, you're fine. You're not getting wheel bite on this board. One of the best cutouts on a top mount, coupled with the exceptional wheel wells here. Great board for running loose trucks and doing some sweet carving and downhill on this board. Another key feature is the Pleasure Dome. Everyone knows about the Pleasure Dome from Rain. It's this ridge of W. It's just like a little W concave here. It starts here and ends here. So on your front foot, a lot of people don't like the W, so you don't get it there. When you're pushing around, people don't like having that big ridge in the middle, so it's only for your back foot primarily. What the Pleasure Dome does is it locks in the arches of your feet. So we're talking about having more contact patch for your feet on the board. That's what this does. You don't want your feet sliding around at all, especially if you're free riding, doing big standees, downhilling, pre-drifts, toe sides especially. You can stick your toe into the concave and really push off for toe side pre-drifts. It's a do-it-all kind of a board. It has a lot of wheelbase options. It goes from 28 1/4 out to 30 inches. Very versatile, really solid set of wheelbase options. And to boot, it has this sweet little toe carry hole. So when you're dragging your board up the hill, you can just roll it right up and you don't have to pick it up, especially if you're super lazy. That is awesome. Next board we got going on here is the Vega from Subsonic. This is designed by our MotionBoardshop team rider, Chip Wood. It has a beautiful stain graphic by Scott at Subsonic. He does a great job with it. It looks great. Some interesting specs about this board. It's 38 inches long again. A couple adjustable wheelbase options. It goes from 28 to 29.5 inch. You can kind of mess around with front and back and get it dialed to exactly how you like it. Kind of like the Voodoo has. It has a lot of rocker. It's got 3/4 inches of rocker. Has also 3/4 inches of concave, so a bit steeper than the Voodoo. What that translates is just more locked in. He loves being locked in. He's a downhill machine. He doesn't like his feet sliding around at all, so this is exactly what he was looking for. And nice part about this board is it's got some really functional wheel cutouts coupled with some really beautifully done wheel wells. This just means less wheel bite. You can run 70mm wheels no problem on this board. 75 if you're going downhill, truck's a little bit tighter, you'll be totally fine with this board. I know Chip was running indies on this board and it felt great, especially on the inner wheelbase, so he's like nice and close to his front truck. He's running Zealous trucks on it right now, so those are really low trucks and he's not suffering any wheel bite. So this is a really well designed and constructed board from Subsonic. Some specs about this board: it's 38 inches long. It is 10 inches wide at its widest point and tapers down to 9 inches in the back, so good amount of taper there. 28 inch to 29.5 inch wheelbase. You have a lot of options here. You can really play with it and dial it in just the way you like it. If you have any questions about any of these boards, any comments, you can make a comment in the YouTube box below. If you need to get in contact, ask any questions about any boards, setups, anything you need to know about longboards, we got live chat. You can email us, give us a call at MotionBoardshop. We're open for anything, and we'll definitely help you out to get you set up with the best setup you can. We always promote safety, always wear a helmet. If you can't afford a helmet, give us a call and we'll get you a good deal on one. We can't stress it enough that we always want you to wear a helmet, so that's really important for us. This is Max Wippermann signing off from MotionBoardshop. Chip Wood is like f***ing sick and stuff. big selling point for this board. It comes with the all right. One more time. This is it. Starting over, clean slate. Okay. W concave and the narrow. It's balls. Captured. Beat the bank, kind of. That's not even a saying. 8 1/4. 8 and. I made that up. Higher. This is hard, dude. Yeah. We always promote safety. Riding a helmet. Don't ride a helmet. Those things are not fast. It's falling apart. We got this.
Riding a helmet.
Right.